Hey, what's going on? You doing all right? I hope so. Me and my dog, just chilling. Check this out. I'm kind of starting a new thing. Yeah, pretty famous for all that, right? Yeah, I don't have a niche because I am the niche. But I want to start this new thing called This Is My Story. Believe it or not. Right. So I'm going to be making up stories or telling truths about stories that are actually true in my life. And I'm only doing this not to brag or to boast. So y'all haters just, go sit over there and relax. Go pet the dog, whatever. But this is just more of an expression of filling in the gaps. Because y'all, it's sad to say, but y'all like to judge people by an appearance or by a rumor. So I figured I'd do this, and I would just kind of set the record straight. A little personal, at sometimes always humorous. So we're going to do it. So I'm going to start off right now by saying that I know most of y'all see this, but some of y'all that don't. Obviously, I'm without teeth. Yeah, because I have been waiting 6 months now to get my dental implants from the VA. I called them today. 45 minutes. I called at 10 o'clock. 47 minutes and 19 seconds to be precise. I was on the phone waiting and waiting for them to pick up. And when they did, I was like, hello, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, hello. And I was like, hello, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, hello. And I was like, blah, blah. And they hung up. And it was like 10 minutes before lunchtime. If you're military, 11:30 to 1. So you do the math. But nonetheless, later on after 1 o'clock, I called. 20 minutes in, I was like, they ain't answering, I give up. So if you think that's a true story or not, that's up to you. Okay, so I'm going to start off this series right now with this story. Actually, there's going to be, I think, 4 stories. So sit back, relax, get yourself all propped up and ready. Okay. Where do I begin? Okay. This is my story, believe it or not. I have to say that I was probably around 8 years old. Now, my mom's been married a few times. 4 to be precise. And her third husband was a professional wallpaper and painter. Meaning he had some upper class kind of gigs because we lived in California. SoCal, baby. San Bernardino. So one day, we go to Las Vegas. My parents at that time were famous for going to Laughlin in Vegas. And if you know Vegas, there's the dam, and then you gotta cross with the ferry to go over to Laughlin, whatever. And so we were in Vegas, me and my 2 brothers and my parents. And all I remember of that trip was the breakfast joint called Circus Circus. And it was back in the late 80s. You could get breakfast for fucking 99 cents. And it was all you could eat buffet. But the point of this, is it my story, yes or no? I sat down with my family with Phyllis Diller. If you don't know who Phyllis Diller is, Google her. Check it out. She had a puppet, blah, 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 blah. Then, my next memory was being in her house, helping, doing the cutting in and all that for the painting. Because we were painting and wallpaper in her house. So that is one of my stories, believe it or not. Second story. I'm now out of California, and I'm in Massachusetts. 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 Because that's where my whole family's from. South Boston. So, I'm in high school. Getting ready to go in high school. Because we moved from California when I was 13 in 1987 to move to Massachusetts where I was born. But when I was born, I lived there for a year and a half as a baby, moved to California. Stayed there until 1987. And I was born in 73, so you do the math. So, my mom had issues. But she was an RN, and she had her own business, her own clothing line. But she was a mess. Sorry, I just kind of got lost in that part real quick. So, me and my mom didn't get along because I told her the truth about some things that happened in my life that she didn't believe. She took the side of one person more than her own flesh and blood. We'll leave it at that. So, she sent me off to go to live with my aunt in the town I was born, in Massachusetts, for the summer, before the school started. So then, bored old me, because there in that place called Melrose, Massachusetts, there was a lot of big hills. And I skateboarded, which is another story I'll get to in a minute. But they had big hills like San Francisco. It's crazy. I don't know how it happened, but it was. So I have my knee pads on my hands, skateboard, sliding down these hills, like sideways, like surfing, right? So they decided, my aunt and uncle decided that I should go help my uncle at his mattress place that he owned and worked. 2 days there, sitting on the highest mattress top because he stacked the mattresses, and I felt like the princess in a pea. But guess who walks in the door? None other than the most badass hockey goalie for the Bears, the Boston Bruins. Andy Moog walks in. I'm on the top, like Princess and Pia, jump down because I'm a Boston. Don't even get me on that. Go Bruins. But I met him, then I got his autograph. And he ordered 7 mattresses. So that's my story, believe it or not. So we're going to fast forward. Now we're in a place called Brockton, Massachusetts, where I graduated high school, which is the home of Rocky Marciano, which was only 10 blocks from my house. That's where Rocky Marciano and his mom lived. Plus, another boxer called Marvin Hagler. And so this place called Brockton, Massachusetts was called the home of the champions because we had 2 middleweight, lightweight, don't quote me, champions. Rocky Marciano and Marvin Hagler. And I graduated from that high school, which my graduating class was phenomenally large. So, like I said, I was into skateboarding. So I got hit by, I got hit with this idea of our town is not fit for skating because it was like the ghetto, like straight up, the ghetto. You thought Chicago and all this shit was bad? Nah, man. Like, I know what the bricks are about, dude. So, me and my friends, they had a bus called the Bat. and we would skate from the house to the center of town, which was called the Bat Terminal. Hear you about, man, in Brockton. What? And when the bus would take off, because it was going to another town, the next town over, we would do what's called skitching. So when you're on a skateboard and you're dumb, we held on to the bumper of the bus. And that bitch drove us all the way across town, all the way to the next town. And we didn't have to kick our legs to skate all the way there, which was a good, I don't know, 25 miles, something like that. And we were going to this place in another town which had a skate park. See, you can't really have a skate park in a ghetto city, so we had to go to the suburbs, and that's what we did. But we hooked a ride on the back of the bus. My mom had problems with me and my adventure. So, we go to the skate park, and we're all skating, and they had built this huge ramp. And it was a 16-foot vert ramp with 2 feet of vert. So if you know skateboarding, 16 feet is a lot, but 2 feet of vert is straight up. So when you're on the top and you get ready to drop in, it's 2 feet straight down, and then it curves. And no one could do it. Here comes Billy Badass. I get up there, come down, boom, crash first time. Get up there again, boom, crash the second time. Third time, get up there, kicking the air out, boom, got it, landed it, perfect. Woo, phenomenal. No one could do it. So at that place, they had like a little skateboard shop. And I got so good at skateboarding that they semi-pro'd me, and I got to have my own board with graphics and everything, right? So they had this big wahoo deal of promoting the new skate park. And somehow, back in those days, in the late 80s, and if you know skateboarding, I think you know where I'm going to go. They got somehow to have Tony Hawk, Lance Mountain, Christian Zoe, all the Powell Peralta guys to come to this itty-bitty town in Massachusetts and skate. And it was on the news. So Tony Hawk and his crew came out. They skated around. They did a bunch of talking, whatever, some motivational shit. And then it was like they picked a couple kids out of the crowd to go skate with them on this new setup they put up. Do you think that they picked me? You goddamn right they did. And I got to skate with Tony Hawk and Lance Mountain and Christian Zoe back in 1989. Don't quote me on that, because I'm 52 and you do the math to 73. I'm already lost in algebra. But that's my story. Believe it or not. Are you having fun so far? I hope so. I don't think I can get any more personal than this unless I pull my pants down. And I don't know you, so I don't think I'm going to be doing that, okay? We might edit that. I don't know, but probably not. But, you know, just keeping it real with you guys. Because that's what we need in this world, is we need real people to say real shit when other people can't, but they want it. So I hope this is some kind of inspiration to say, yeah, I mean, I've done stuff. But remind you, this is only the first part of this series of This Is My Story, believe it or not. Okay, so there's one more story that we're going to polish off here before I let y'all go. We're going to fast forward probably 12 years. So I'm going to be like 22-ish, 23. And I'm only another town away from the town I used to skate in, and 2 towns away from the town I grew up in. I have my own apartment. And my downstairs neighbor was jacked like Stone Cold fucking Steve Austin. Bald ass head. Give me beer. That's this guy, right? And he had what was called an International Scout. And if you know that, it's like a rock climbing kind of truck. But it didn't have a roof, nothing. It had the roll cage. He's like, we're going rock climbing. And I'm like, okay, dude. So we're in there, 5-point harness, strapped in, go up this little hill, mountain, whatever. and has these crazy rocks. And we got that bitch up on the rocks, leaning, and it was like 2 wheels off the ground, and I'm like this, parallel to the marching surface, being like, this ain't fun. But at this place that I lived in, I worked at a place called Filene's, which is like a department store like Macy's. But in Boston, it's like a secondhand Macy's, I guess you would say. Because New York's got the Macy's, right? Oh, y'all New Yorkers are so fancy, right? You go to Brooklyn, you're so fancy, right? Wait. Boston and New York, we got this thing, right? Yankees and fucking, it's all because of Babe Ruth. But nonetheless, I worked there at night. And my job was to clean the floors. So when you walk in that bitch, and it's a marble floor, and the lights are shining on it, you can't see where you're going, because it's so damn bling bling. I was buffing and cleaning and doing all that magic, right? That was my job. So the store was about to close. It was like 5 minutes before closing. And mind you, this store is close to what's called Braintree, Massachusetts. And it's called Hanover. So there's a place called Hanover Mall. That's where I work, at Filene's. So 5 minutes before it closes, there's a customer that comes in. And he comes to me as I'm buffing the floor. And it's fucking Steven Tyler. I like shut the switch, pull it forward. Right? Dude looks like a lady. And he asked me, where's the juniors department so I can find some scarves? And it was like right there, because I was in the front. And if you come into Macy's and all that, the juniors are right there because they got sucking the kids. But anyways, I was like, over there. And if you're from Boston and you run into Steven Tyler, it's like, what? Because he's like an icon of Boston, I guess you could say. So he's getting his scarf and he's like clearing the rack. And he's in the gear, you know, he's like, wee, like, you know, Van Halen, like the crazy outfits in the 80s. But this wasn't the 80s. This was like late 1990s, almost 2000s, yeah. Like late 90s. So he's looking through and he's like picking his shit and he's like, okay, so the register was right there, but there was nobody there. So he comes back to me. He goes, I gotta cash out. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I walk him to the other side and there was a cashier and I was like, let's get it going. To cash him out, because he was looking like he needed to get the fuck out of there real quick. And even though we were 5 minutes before closing, you know, other people coming in and be like, oh, Steven, so he got cashed out. And in one moment, when I turned to walk away to go do my job, something said, get his autograph. And I did. I said, not for nothing, but since I helped you, think I can get your autograph? And he's like, yeah. Because he has this big old mouth. He's like, like he's going to eat you, right? So he takes the receipt that he buys all these scarves from and then signs his fucking name on it and gives it to me. Pow! So now I know how much he spent and I got his autograph. What? That was amazing. That was some sweet emotion. So then he left. And then everybody in the store that I worked with, they all came out of the woodwork. Like, when you're working, ain't no one to be found. But then, you know, when it's break or whatever, in this case, everybody came out. And I'm like, oh my God, he got his autograph. So they wanted his autograph too. And I'm like, this is one and only. And I ended up making like 30 copies for people. So that's my story, believe it or not. I hope you enjoyed this time with me. I appreciate that openness so we could be real, true, and authentic. And if you believe it, that's fucking great. If you don't, you're a piece of shit. But that's still your opinion, and that's where you're going to lay. So look forward to more of this, because this is what I'm going to do. So there's going to be sad stories, good stories, crazy stories that you need to believe is my story. And that's all I'm going to say.